So you got your template and 4 different files open. If you're working on 4 of them at the same time in one sitting, as I'm doing. And what you're going to do is you are just going to copy and paste this template. One note I want to mention is you can copy and paste just the first outline if you are creating the educational type of piece of content. So this one just has multiple talking points from 3 to 5 ideally, and it has intro and outro. The alternative content outline is more for the blog style content where you have a setup, a confrontation, and resolution, not a piece of content where you are teaching something. As you remember, we have our content map, and helpful content is basically educational type of content most of the time. So for that one, you will just use this outline. And then if any of your nurturing content or your contagious content is more of a storytelling, so for instance, I left my full-time job to work from home, that could be more of a storytelling piece, then you could watch that video on storytelling and you could just start creating an outline from this template right here. So my videos, I have how to attract the right audience to your business. Do you feel overwhelmed every time you sit down to create content? How to learn content marketing, and how to create a multi-channel content strategy for your business. So the only one that is questionable is how I learned content marketing. So my story, because it is a storytelling piece, I'm just going to copy this here and I'm going to use this alternative outline. But for the rest of these, I'm just going to grab this entire piece right here and copy and paste. Another note that I want to mention is for these storytelling type videos, if you don't have any keywords for them, that's totally fine. You can just scratch this entire thing off. For instance, I could check and see if there are any keywords for the video how I learned content marketing or how you can learn content marketing, but let me just double check here. So how to learn content marketing is part of my nurturing type of content. So I didn't do any keyword research for this piece. So since I'm not optimizing it for any keywords, I'm just going to delete all this stuff and I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm just going to worry about title, alternative titles. I'll come up with some title ideas that I can maybe use different titles for blog, for podcasts, for videos. You can also watch a video in the bonus course on scroll stopping techniques, and those techniques apply to titles as well. Now let's go back to these ones. So how to attract the right audience to your business. I want to go back to my content idea generator and I'm going to search audience. Here it is. So here are my keywords. How to build an audience is the top one, and then the rest of them are the related keywords. So I'm just going to do that, and then I'm gonna keep my keywords separate so I can see them. And I'm a formatting freak, so I'm just gonna go ahead and have all of them formatted together. So URL slug, depending on what website provider you use, you may be able to have a custom link created. For instance, digitalpresencelab.com/how to build an audience would be my ideal link for this future blog post. So I'm just going to go ahead and add this here. Looks good, right? So there are no like numbers or weird symbols. If you have any internal links to add, so if your website already has some content that you think that would be helpful to the reader or the viewer of this piece of content that you're creating, go ahead and add the links here so then you don't forget to add them. The word count, I recommend not writing anything less than 500 words. Depending on the piece, how in-depth you want to go, you might want to go up to 1,500 words, even 2,000 words. But just remember that if you decide to create, say, 2,000 word article, it may be difficult to turn the whole thing into a video and a podcast. I think I have one article to show you really quick. So I have this article right here, develop content strategy step by step. And this article is 2,500 words. So if there is a topic that you really want to go in depth on and you really want to write a lot about, that's totally fine. But what I'm going to do is none of this key principles of content strategy, none of this stuff is going to be in my video. I will only focus on how to create a content strategy step by step, just this part, and I'll also make it more snappy and more actionable. So it is an option if you do want to do this, but for just the simplicity of this, I've created the outline for you so that you can easily turn this blog post or this article into a video in the podcast. And that includes, your outline includes the intro paragraph or the hook, which is basically why should your ideal customer care about this piece of content? Why is it helpful? And then you're gonna include modified version of the title, including target keywords. So for my article here, how to build an audience you can sell to, maybe I will say how to build an audience in 5 steps, right? So that's basically includes my target keyword still, but it's a little bit different from my original title. And then I'm going to list out these 5 steps of what you need to do to build an audience. So talking point could be a step, could be 5 tips, could be 3 ways, 5 techniques, 5 tools, anything that is like a category. Now we're gonna actually create an outline based on this template. And to do that, we're going to use OpenAI. You can use any other writing assistant. So we're going to ask OpenAI ChatGPT to create an outline for a blog post / article using the template below, including keywords. And we're copy our template right here. And I'm actually going to modify, since I know that this is going to be step 1, step 2. I'm just going to say step, okay. And create an outline for a blog article titled, okay. And then including keywords, we're going to go here. I'm going to say keywords, main keyword, okay. Related keywords, okay. And then we're also going to, you can even add this checklist to make sure that ChatGPT actually adds the keywords, okay. I'm just going to copy this, okay. So intro paragraph hook. So why should my ideal customer care about this? So sometimes it helps to add a little bit of information. For instance, for this one, my customer wants to build an audience. So why building an audience doesn't have to be difficult as a small business owner. So you can even give a prompt so that it's more aligned with what it is you want to say. Okay. So let's just go ahead and send this in and see what happens. So we see the title, how to build an audience you can sell to. Intro paragraph hook. As a small business owner, the idea of building an audience might seem daunting, but it doesn't have to be. In fact, attracting and engaging an audience that's genuinely interested in what you have to offer can be an achievable goal. So it's aligned with modified title. This is my H2, Mastering the Art of Building an Audience, Strategies for Small Business Owners. Great. And then here are the 5 steps that ChatGPT came up with, okay? We don't have to use this outline. We can always regenerate the responses and see what other ideas it may come up with. But I think this is a good start. So we're going to copy this and we are going to paste this. Make sure that you don't forget to add call to action at the end. So this is just going to be our draft that we're going to go off of. So I like to just do that, just make everything normal text and then add some spaces so then it looks decent, because I prefer to format everything by hand after I've done all the creation of the outline and all the writing. So Here it is. So we can just get started with this, and then maybe the steps aren't really what I want to create, right? Maybe for my idea of how to build an audience, maybe the first step is understanding your target audience. That's good. Creating valuable content is good. Building an online community, good. Leveraging social media. Like, for instance, I really don't love social media, so I might change this to leveraging different channels. And then if I want to, I can maybe go ahead and ask it to change step 4 to leveraging online marketing channels such as SEO, YouTube, and podcast. Let's see. So it's going to regenerate the whole thing. And then you'll see that in the 4th step, it now says leveraging online marketing channels. And there it is. So now we can just copy this part and change this, and now we can get started and we can just modify this and go ahead and write out the whole article. If you ever get stuck and you don't have any ideas, I recommend working with your writing assistant. Ask it to finish sentence, ask it to write a paragraph on specific topic that maybe within this article that you want to get more ideas. And then you can also, if you are more of a traditional type of writer or creator, you can also go to YouTube, Google, and read articles on this topic, watch videos on this topic if you haven't done so already, so that you can just gather more ideas and solidify your outline. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this and I'm going to modify this. I'm going to expand some of these points. I'm going to align them with my system and my ideas for how you should build your audience, because I want this piece of content to be original. I don't want it to be just some nonsense that anyone can generate. So if you're doing this with me, go ahead and keep working on your content. And once you are done with writing, go ahead and resume so then we can together optimize your content. All right, so I am done writing 4 pieces of content. And the next step is to optimize it for search. We have our SEO optimization checklist here. And the first point is to mention a keyword in the title. So our main keyword is how to build an audience. So here we go, how to build an audience you can sell to. We want to make sure that we included the main keyword in the title. So this one is done. Now, page title between 40 to 60 characters, and I think this one is good. Let's see, words, characters, 41. So we are within the range, which is great. The main keyword used only once in the first 150 words. So again, our main keyword is how to build an audience, and we can actually use the search feature and we can search it. So here it is. And yes, it is only once in the first couple of paragraphs. So we're good. Main keyword mentioned in the few subheadings. So we're gonna again go through. And yes, it is in this main subheading right here. And I don't believe that we can include it anywhere else in the subheadings. So we'll just have to live with that. Add related keywords in the copy where they naturally fit. All right, so attract audience. Let's see, we don't have that anywhere. So I'm searching and I'm not finding it. So where can we include this? So here we say content online to build an audience. Let's look, where else do we say? Maybe here, but most likely have no idea how to attract audience. Okay, so that is good. And then each related keyword's mentioned 1 time, so that is sufficient. Build community. We're going to include this. Okay, build community. So to effectively build an audience you can sell to, we can change this to a community. There we go. So we have build a community now. Build a community. Okay, community. I'm actually gonna delete that there. So There we go. We have both of our keywords here. How to build an online community as well. So we're going to search again. How to build an online community. Okay, so all of our related keywords are included at least one time. So the next one is if you do have any images that you're going to be using, just ensure that your main keyword is included in the attributes of this image. Always break content into easy to read chunks, only 2-3 lines each. So we're going to break these big paragraphs into a couple smaller ones. There we go. There we go. Just so you know, I use Grammarly to help me ensure that I don't make any mistakes. Since English is not my first language, there is a free plan and the paid plan, but I think the free plan is good enough, and so that's what I'm using. So again, I'm just going through and I'm breaking down big paragraphs if there is anything bigger than 2 to 3 lines. And we are done with this item right here. The next point is to include 2 to 4 outbound links to relevant articles and not competitors. So for this one, let's see, what could we include here? I don't have any links. So for instance, like here, a great way to attract the audience is to use storytelling. So I don't really go in depth on storytelling. So I can go on Google and I can just search storytelling for building an audience and see what pops up. So here's an article, how do you use storytelling to influence your audience and build trust? We could just go ahead and copy that and go back to our article, and we're going to add the link. So for the link, just so you know, I'm highlighting this text, clicking on insert link, and I'm adding that link. So you're looking for certain points where you could expand, add some more value. So for instance, for the content mission, we can actually add this link to Content Marketing Institute, how to write an inspiring content mission statement. And this would also be helpful for our audience. So again, make sure that you don't link to competitors, but otherwise you can link to any high profile resources that you trust. We've added 2 of the outbound links, and the outbound links are the links that link to other websites. And now we're going to include links to relevant resources on my website. So I'm actually relaunching the website. I don't have any links at this moment. So after I publish all 4 of my articles, I'll actually interlink them. So for instance, this article, how to attract the right audience, once it's published, I will add it to this article, multi-channel content strategy, where I talk about the audience just the same way as I did here. You'll just go in and you will highlight the anchor text and you'll click on the link and you'll just add that link once the article is published. And what that does is it lets the crawlers and search engine such as Google, it lets them know that the content on your website it's not random, it makes sense. And when your audience actually clicks on any of your blog posts or articles, they're going to be able to go not only to other websites, but go to other relevant content on your website. And that means that they spend more time on your website, which tells search engines that it's a good high value website. All right. And then the link should be used naturally and point to relevant resources. So just make sure that you don't stuff your blog posts with links. Too many links is not good. If you have a lot of content on your website, obviously you can add more than 4 links to other resources on your website just to show that this piece of content is like a pillar content. It has a lot of other resources that link to it. But if you're just starting out, this is sufficient. So here we go. And then the other thing that you want to pay attention to is your formatting. So your title is always H1 or heading 1. Your main, kind of like a main subtitle that also includes your keyword, is H2. And then all the other ones are going to be H3. So for this blog post, you can see that this one is H3, this one is H3. So we are good. Perfect. So we finished optimizing this piece of content, and it only took us about 5 to 10 minutes. And if you end up delegating this task to your VA, also shouldn't take them that long because you already have all the keywords and the checklist. It should be pretty quick.